Watch the tunnel just before kickoff. Amidst the deafening noise and blinding lights, you'll catch these deeply intimate, silent moments. A player closing his eyes, clasping his hands, speaking a few words to nobody in the stadium. They do this inside arenas constructed specifically for mass entertainment and corporate branding. These are multi-billion-dollar stages, engineered to extract maximum revenue and hold the undivided attention of tens of thousands of screaming fans. Yet, right in the center of that highly manufactured noise, you see an athlete drop to his knees in isolated prayer, or kiss the turf, or quietly point to the sky. Introducing an ancient, private religious practice into a highly commercialized, strictly secular space creates immediate friction. People watching from the stands and on screens around the world don't always know what to make of it. A 2025 study examining football fandom in Indonesia tracked how people respond to these exact gestures online, and the reactions were intensely polarized. Researchers found a constant stream of accusations. Commentators and opposing fans frequently label these praying players as double-faced. They argue the athletes are simply using religion as a PR shield or performing for the cameras to build a devout personal brand. The core problem with this reaction is the inherent impossibility of the task. You have millions of spectators attempting to accurately measure the invisible, internal sincerity of a single human being under immense physical stress. Are we watching a calculated performance? Or is that quick sign of the cross actually a vital mechanism for psychological survival? To answer that, we have to look past fan debate and look at sports psychology. A 2024 peer-reviewed study focused on how elite footballers navigate the mental toll of the game. This visualizes emotional regulation. When a player steps onto the pitch, biological stress spikes, chaos takes over, and internal control drops. But watch here. The physical act of a ritual acts as a neurological circuit breaker, bringing that lost sense of control back to baseline. These rituals provide a physical anchor for the player. By focusing on a specific, repetitive action, the athlete engages a sensory loop that grounds focus, providing a brief moment of internal stability, regardless of the cameras or the crowd. The biological data suggests that these gestures serve a functional purpose on the pitch, creating a layer of utility that any PR-driven explanation misses. Under this level of pressure, a quick prayer provides the emotional stability required to perform. There is a deeply ingrained geographic component to this as well. A 2020 PLOS One analysis examined goal celebrations specifically in the Champions League to see where these rituals originate. This map illustrates the study's core finding. The data shows that religious gestures on the pitch aren't random individual choices. They map precisely to specific cultural and geographic patterns. This proves an athlete doesn't step onto the grass as a blank slate wearing a corporate uniform. They arrive carrying the specific regional heritage and customs of where they grew up. In an incredibly homogenized, globalized corporate ecosystem, taking 3 seconds to perform a traditional prayer maintains a player's core identity. But the friction remains because of where these actions take place. Modern football is highly volatile, driven by aggressive tribalism and intense nationalism. When a player utilizes a deeply private psychological tool in front of 50,000 screaming fans, the environment immediately alters the act. The stadium takes a quiet prayer and amplifies it into a massive, unavoidable public symbol. The resulting backlash and accusations of hypocrisy are often just an unintended byproduct of the venue. A player may never have intended to make a loud public statement, but the sheer scale of the spectacle forced their private moment into one. If we step back, the structure of organized sports mirrors organized religion. Stadiums are designed physically and culturally as sacred spaces, and the weekly chants echoing from the terraces function exactly like hymns. The millions of people sitting in those seats exhibit the exact same psychological markers as deeply devout believers. Look at the intense anxiety and total surrender on the faces in the crowd. The player's individual prayer exists within this larger system of faith. The stadium provides a shared emotional container for both the athlete's ritual and the fan's obsession, merging private devotion with the collective energy of the match. Modern football is a world of total optimization. Every sprint is tracked by sensors, and every diet is calculated by scientists. In this environment, a prayer represents a part of the player's life that refuses to be quantified or managed by data analysts. While critics will always debate whether a specific player is putting on an act, the research consistently points in one direction. These gestures are overwhelmingly genuine mechanisms of hope, focus, and identity. In a billion-dollar industry that treats athletes as perfectly calibrated machines, a quiet moment of prayer on the field is a radical assertion of their humanity.